What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another interview in our World Autoinflammatory Awareness Month series here on FMF and AID Global Association's YouTube page. Make sure you click that subscribe button and like this video as well. And it is FMF Awareness Day, Familial Mediterranean Fever. I have Familial Mediterranean Fever, and I'm also joined with someone else who has familial Mediterranean fever. Christina from the Netherlands. How are you doing today?
I'm fine. Yes, I'm fine.
How are you feeling today? That's a better question for someone with FMF.
Yeah, today I'm having a I think it's today it's okay.
Today's a good day. That's good.
Yes, it's fine. I say if I have to rate it, it's a 7.
Okay.
So
Oh, that's pretty good. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. I'm at about a 5 or 6 because I'm just getting over a flare. So you're
Oh,
definitely ahead of me. Yeah. I
yeah.
was. So for those of you who don't know, I'm doing a streamathon for World Autoinflammatory Awareness Month. Over on my personal channels, and then these interviews will be living on the FMF and AID Global Association YouTube page. And I had to take a 2-day break because of an FMF flare, and luckily able to come back on FMF Awareness Day, so we can go ahead and speak with some people about living with familial Mediterranean fever, because it cannot be fun sometimes. So why don't you first tell us a bit about yourself and maybe when you were diagnosed, and kind of get us to where we are now.
Yeah. So I'm from the Netherlands and I'm 38 years old. And well, I was diagnosed I think it's right now about 10 years ago.
Okay.
Yes, and the 10 years before my diagnosis, I was told I had uh, bowel syndromes or anxiety or whatever. So yes, I was just not heard. I was not seen. I was not recognized. So and when I was 28, 27, 28, that was the moment one specialist thought, okay, let's do a DNA test.
Mm.
Let's see if something pops up. And there it was. There was my mutation. So then everything yeah, happened. So yeah. Yeah.
How
Oh,
many?
and
Go
yeah.
ahead.
Yes, I'm a mom. I have 3 children. They are 18, 14, and 5 years old.
Okay.
My youngest one, he has also, well, he doesn't have the mutation, but clinically he
Mm.
shows everything. So they started with Christina 6 months ago.
Okay.
And before that, they did a few months blood work and checkups and all the stuff to be sure he shows every sign of autoinflammatory disease, and that was positive. So yeah, they started medication with him, and he's doing better because he had fever and flares about every 2 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was exhausting for him. He didn't go well with school, and he was skinnier. It was
Mm-hmm.
horrible. So he's doing fine now. So
Awesome.
yeah.
Now, so I remember having FMF that young a little bit, and yes, it was like that. It wasn't fun. Now, for someone like yourself, though, who wasn't diagnosed until their late 20s, what was it like going to school and growing up, and dealing with having what no one knew what it was?
Yeah, I'm not sure if I remember well, because when they came up with FMF, I was they said, yes, you were born with it. So I was thinking, okay, can I remember that I was more sick more
Oh.
often, or but I don't really remember much, but I have parents who always say walk it off. So I don't, when I look back, I think, okay, maybe I had more often fever, or you know um I don't I
Strep
don't know what.
throat, like strep throat.
Yes,
And
yes,
yeah, yeah.
those complaints. But it got worse after my daughter was born, and I
Oh.
was oh no, my son. Well, after those births, my system just
Mm,
was messed up, and that was the trigger, I think. So
interesting.
yeah, my son is sick from baby, and I was sick, on set later, so it's yeah, I don't really remember, although my mom told me I was very often sick as a child, but
Mm.
I had to walk it off, so I don't know.
Oh no. Well, and that's got to be like just an interesting experience where you have children and you don't know of any illnesses, then all of a sudden it hits you. Now did it hit so your oldest has FMF too? No, just your youngest.
Yes,
So that's
but
interesting. But the
yeah,
the
but he
birth of your oldest two caused you to trigger, which is very
yeah.
interesting. That yeah, it's just such a fascinating. So talk
Well,
about that a little
when
bit.
so as I told, he's 5 years old.
Yep.
So at the moment I was pregnant, I got pregnant, I knew about my own FMF.
Yes.
But uh, before getting pregnant, we had conversation with my immunologist and with my OB. That's the
Yeah.
word,
Yeah.
I think.
OBGYN.
Yes,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, so well, we discussed it. So, what are the risk of the chances that I will have a child with also FMF or something like
Something
that?
else.
And
Yeah.
they all said, yeah, no, you need a sick or someone with a mutation or whatever. So the chances are, yeah, zero with my partner. The only mutation my husband has was sickle cell. So I
Oh.
was like, oh, okay, well, let's do it. So
Oh.
yeah, and I started in my pregnancy, my third pregnancy, I started with anakinra.
Okay.
Before the pregnancy, I only used colchicine. So yeah, and
It.
that's another story. But the fact that it was sick was for me. He's also born with he's also carrier for sickle cell also.
Oh.
So he has the genetic jackpots. But yeah, I didn't yeah, at that moment, at that time, nobody told me that you could have a child. How do
Yeah.
you say it? You don't need a sick
Yeah. You
parent.
don't. Yeah.
Yeah, so I didn't know that, and the specialists were convinced it was fine, it was okay, and yeah, that's what it is. So a lot to learn here in the Netherlands, I think.
Yeah, that's the genetics thing that's going to be way over our heads, obviously, and that's the thing is people need to understand is these kind of diseases they don't have a pattern, they don't have a routine, they're not the same in everybody, they don't present at the same time, and I'm sure when you were diagnosed, and you said for the previous 10 years they were telling you it was other things or it was all in your head, like what was working like dealing with them not understanding maybe
Yeah,
compared to now where you have a diagnosis and possibly they would understand because you have a diagnosis.
yeah, well, I worked in healthcare as a nurse,
Oh.
so you would think they are more well, no, so
No,
they
not
don't
at all.
care.
I understand that. No.
They don't care. And I was getting sick as I was getting older.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was 21, 22, it was, yeah, not exceptional. I was not more often sick, but when I was sick, I was very sick, but
Mm-hmm.
there were no alarm bells. But later in the process, I think I was 25 and I was working in a hospital, and I had very often flares. I didn't know it was a flare, but I had a
Yeah.
flare all the time, all the time. And I remember I had a new job, and they literally said to me, well, you can be sick in your first week when you work here. So if this is what you're going to show, yeah, we have to let you go.
Wow.
I didn't work there for more than 3 months because of
Yeah.
this, and they fired me. And there was almost a legal case because I didn't I should know before I signed the contract that I had a disease, but I didn't
You
know.
didn't
I
know.
only knew there were some suspicions, but I was not for sure. So there was a whole thing. And yeah, nobody was really, I don't know, when they don't see it, it's more like, yeah, people only see me when I'm okay. They don't see me
Sure.
when I'm in bed. So the only thing they know at work and wherever, they see someone with makeup, your hair done, whatever. And the other days, even if they're 5 of the 7 days, the other days I'm at home or not feeling well. So they
Hmm.
don't see it. So people don't understand it. And at work, it was a serious issue. Yeah. I lost a lot of jobs because of it. Yeah.
Yeah. I think a lot of FMF and autoinflammatory patients have dealt with this kind of thing. I know I have. So it's it's a little comforting to know that we're all kind of going through the same thing a little bit, but at the same time it's also super frustrating because especially for you at that time where you weren't diagnosed, I have to imagine. So what happened after that job? And did you go, were you able to find another job right away, or was this a battle and then that's when you finally were diagnosed?
No, well, after that job, I found a new job
Good.
and I worked there until, yeah, quite recently.
Oh.
So they gave me a permanent contract, and um, I got my diagnosis during that job.
Mm-hmm.
And well, in the Netherlands, you cannot fire someone if you have a permanent contract. So
Got you.
yeah, so that was my, yeah. Oh, even without a permanent contract, they cannot fire you
If you
just,
have a disease, yeah.
no,
Oh, there's
it's
no at
illegal.
will firing there,
No,
like in the
they
United
cannot
States where
say,
they can just fire you.
no, it's
Got
not
you.
possible. So they only, you can get in first, you have a contract for 6 months, 12 months,
Got
etc.
you.
And after 3 times they do that, they have to give you a permanent contract.
Okay.
So, but
Interesting.
even in those short contracts, you cannot be fired like this. So
Yeah, yeah,
like in
yeah.
the
Had
United
to have a
States.
reason, right?
They can say after 6 months, well, we don't fit together, let's
Sure,
go,
sure, sure.
but
Yeah, make up reasons exactly.
right, right. So, but they didn't, and they gave me a
Good.
permanent contract. And well, they had a lot of they understood my situation, but as a nurse, I had to work night shifts, weekends, and late shifts, and I couldn't do it anymore. So, yeah, I I did quit my own job there. I went to a job during the day, and
Okay.
but yeah, I think I was lucky because the most people I hear, they don't have those bosses or and how do you say it? Yeah, jobs where they understand what you're going through, and yeah,
Yeah, we definitely live in a different society where we're expected to work through things, and it's changing a little bit, but like you said, if they don't see it, they're not gonna uh, accommodate it. You
no,
know, it's invisible, and like you said, I mean, for the most part, I never went to work with a flare. Sometimes I would get a flare at work, or and I would have to leave, or sometimes I would just push myself and go, and they were like, "What are you doing here?" But those weren't. I've had a lot of other jobs though, where they're like, "Why aren't you in? What's wrong with you?" Well, I have this diagnosis. Oh, go to a doctor then. That doesn't help. Going to a
yeah,
doctor during a flare isn't going to do anything, So again, like you said, people don't understand. Now your older kids seem like they got lucky genetically,
yeah,
but your youngest, he's 5. Has he started school yet?
yes, he's
Yes.
in first grade
First
now.
grade.
Yeah,
Okay. And how has that been going? How was that before the culture scene and now after the culture scene? I think is a good way to look at it.
yeah. Well, before this school year, before the summer, he was in kindergarten. Of I don't know
Mm-hmm.
how.
Yep.
Nivo, yeah. So I have to think. Well, last year he was getting more sick every month. So
Mm-hmm.
last year in August, we started with, we went to the specialist,
Okay.
the same specialist as in the same hospital as I am. There, they have an expertise center.
Yep.
So we went there because, yeah, I just wanted someone with some knowledge about the disease. My son was, yeah, every 2, 3 weeks he had a fever and he didn't go to school. And after 2 months, they called me and they were like, okay, we have to discuss this situation because what's going on. They are very helpful. They also said, well, we can make a special program for him if it's is it like this in the future, so they are very, how do you say it? They are flexible. they
Good.
they they understand, and they are, now that they understand, they did research about the disease
Oh,
also.
good.
I have,
Wow. That's amazing.
yes, yeah, I have someone, I don't know, well, someone who works in the school, and she's taking care individually for the children, and she's one-on-one with my son. So
Oh.
if something is wrong or he doesn't feel well, and this year, for instance, he started in first grade, well, they're going to start to read
Mm-hmm.
everything. So it's very intense for my son.
Yeah.
So
Stressful. I can,
he,
yeah.
yeah, the first week he was flaring
Oh.
extremely, so because it was so much for him. But
Mm-hmm.
they, well, he said, the school said, okay, listen, when he's if it's too much for him, just keep him at home, it's fine, we only want him to come to school if he's okay.
Yeah.
So I think I'm lucky
Yeah.
with that, though. Yeah, yeah, I think I'm lucky. And but yeah, he, since he's on the medication, he's better, much
Good.
better. So I hope this
Good.
will.
Now, before you were diagnosed, like, and you got all these misdiagnoses, did you do any of your own research to see if it was something different yourself, or did you just kind of rely on the doctors? And then once you were diagnosed, you started kind of doing your research, getting involved with the groups and such.
Yeah, I didn't present with fever in the beginning. So it was abdominal pain
Okay.
in the beginning. So it was only abdominal pain. It's getting worse, worse, worse. But there was almost no fever. It was also most of the times it was, yeah, I don't, we have different grades here, but I was 37.9. That's almost
Yeah,
a fever.
Celsius. Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah, so,
yeah.
and but it was never a fever. So because it was no fever, nobody thought about inflammatory things or
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
whatever. And I really thought I was making it up myself. I really thought, okay, this my cycle, or this some. I just
Mm-hmm.
thought, okay, they won't find anything. I had a colonoscopy. I had
Mm-hmm.
everything. They didn't see anything.
Oh yeah.
Not my gallbladder. It was this. They really said, okay, you have that syndrome. That your the bowels are irritated.
IBD, yeah, and irritable bowel
Yes.
syndrome is all you have. Yeah, I've heard that
Yeah.
before.
Yeah. Don't eat bread, or don't drink milk,
Yeah.
or whatever. So
No.
I really thought it was yeah, it was between my, yeah, in my head. So after a few years, I worked in my one of my newest job. There was a doctor, a GP, and she said, "Oh, well, maybe it's FMF." And that was the first time I heard about it, and I didn't think much about it. But I was like, FMF, what's FMF? And she was from the Middle East, so
Okay.
for her was more, the link was easier. And I remember I was researching something, the FMF, and I was like, huh? I've never heard of this disease. Why did nobody told me this? So, but I just, yeah, ignored it for a while because the
Mm.
specialists wouldn't accept that possibility that it was FMF. They are, I noticed that specialists who don't have the knowledge about FMF, they refuse to research if it's FMF because it's so rare,
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, it's rare, but I can be that 1%. So please check it. But yeah.
That's a terrible way to doctor, though. You know, that is a terrible way to doctor. And unfortunately, it's all too common for autoinflammatory patients
Yeah.
where the doctors are set in their ways and there's misdiagnoses all the time, or just them ignoring it, and you have to go find another doctor because they're like, people have gotten into fight. I've gotten into arguments with doctors before. I mean, it gets very frustrating, and I'm sure it was very frustrating for you. But the reason I brought that up is because, now that your son is born and has FMF, and you know about FMF, and you've been in the groups, talked to Milena, dealt with FMF and AID, things have got to be a lot less stressful and a little easier than they were when you were trying to first figure out yourself, and then when he was first started getting flares as well.
Is it a question?
Yeah, like I'm asking. It must have been much easier now, having all these resources that you know about now compared to what it was when you were first.
Yeah, the organization is giving me more, how do you say it? I'm more sure of myself. I have more
Confidence.
confidence to
Yeah.
talk to specialists about what I think I have, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is that it doesn't matter if I have those resources, because specialists are stubborn. They don't, um, it's like when a specialist doesn't have the knowledge, and it shuts down. It's just like they are too proud to say, okay, I don't know it, and I will send you to someone who does, and they refuse to do it. I have with my son, when he got sick and he was 20 months old or younger, and I went to my GP. I told my story, so she sent me to a pediatrician, and the pediatrician said, "Oh no, it's impossible that he has FMF." I was like, "Okay, but I have FMF. He has fever. He has everything." Yeah, no, he doesn't. And they did blood work, and he had slided a little bit higher inflammatory markers. And
Mm-hmm.
she said, "Oh no, it's viral. It's a cold, or it's whatever." And she did that for 1.5 years.
Oh my
And
gosh.
yes, she refused to send me to the university hospital because she was too proud to acknowledge the situation. So it took almost 3 years, 4 years before my son went to a real specialist, because she was too proud. And that's a real problem with specialists. Even I have Milena, and I have a lot of resource. I have of Facebook, the groups, and that's very, very helpful. But if specialists won't go with the flow and their own research, and put the pride aside, it will be a problem.
Yeah,
So
and look, our theme this September is navigating the medical maze, and gosh, we've all dealt with what you're dealing with. You turn one corner to one doctor. Nope. Then you got to go back, turn around. It's one step forward, two steps back a lot of
yeah,
times when you're going to look for a doctor. And that's one of the things that FMF and AID is trying to create. That's why they're trying to create educational materials so that maybe we can show these stubborn specialists, these, I hate to use the word ignorant, but some of them are,
yeah, yeah,
doctors, that look, here's the material, here's what we want to do to help. Stop pushing your patients away. And we just have to hope it works, and obviously we have to find the right demographic of doctor, and the right specialists to get into our network. But that's a little upsetting at the same time, because we're like, well, why shouldn't all doctors should want this information? All doctors should want to know what they're dealing with, how to treat, what tests to run, etc. If they don't, now these doctors that you've been dealing with, have you found that they're more older or younger,
so
or is it both?
your last sentence was too fast for me.
Oh,
So what do
sorry,
you
sorry. The doctors that you've been dealing with, have you found they're more older or younger in
the
age
age of
wise?
the specialist?
Yeah.
Oh,
Because for a lot of people, that makes a difference. A
Oh,
lot of people feel that younger doctors have more of a propensity to want to learn.
yeah. I think the specialists who did my DNA test, it was yeah, 10 years older than me.
Okay,
So
so not so
it's
still
quite
young. Yeah,
young.
yeah, that's
Yeah, it's
young. Yeah.
quite young. And the specialist of my then the first pediatrician of my son, she was maybe 60. So
Yep. So see, we
it's not
see that.
old for every 60-year-old.
No,
You're not old,
but
but
it's
it's
older and
different.
more old school and more set in
Yes.
your ways when you're that age and you've been
Yeah.
doing a practice for so long. So I think part of it is, the message I think you're purveying is find the right doctor. Do your research. And unfortunately, though, it's hard because you're in a country where there aren't a lot of specialists for FMF. In the United States, there aren't a lot of specialists for FMF. In Switzerland, Germany, France, you want to go get a lot of specialists for auto-inflammatory, you really have to go to the Middle East, and
Yeah.
it's that, obviously not a safe time to go there right now. But at the same time, also, we want to eliminate that where you don't have to travel very far to be able to get treatment,
Yeah.
and where you don't have to sit there for weeks and weeks just to find the doctor before you go see the doctor, just to get told it's all in your head.
Yeah.
So, no, your story is important because you are like a blueprint of what happens to so many, and it's a shame. It really is. Do you have any last messages, anything you want to say to anybody who would be watching who might be have been dealing with the symptoms, who hasn't been diagnosed, or someone who is diagnosed and is struggling still?
Yeah, I think it's important to join the groups where yeah there are global groups, of the organization on Facebook where you can get more tips and information to feel more secure about what you're going to do. And yeah, I would I think stand your ground. If you think that your kid is having serious auto-inflammatory signs, you just write it down, make a journal, and make sure that you find which doctor in your country is a specialist, so you can just specifically ask for that specialist. So do your own research, and unfortunately you have to do your own research and go with your own research to the specialist and show it to them, but do it. And it's your health. You're going home with a sick child or with yourself who's being sick, and the doctor is going to the next patient and he's
Mm-hmm.
forgotten. So it's your life. It's not his life. He's not living with the problem. So yeah, be
Yeah.
yeah, stand your
Perfect
ground.
message. Advocate for yourself, folks.
Yes, exactly. I was
Advocate
listening to
for
you.
yourselves.
Yeah,
Like Christina said, it's your life, it's your health. You got to
yeah,
deal with it. So, thank you, Christina, so much for sharing your story. And make sure, folks, you go to the two websites below. First one is the FMFNID website. The one below that is the GoFundMe. We're raising money for World Autoinflammatory Awareness Month. We're going to go back to the live stream. So if you go over to my personal channels, you can go watch that. But this is going to be living on the FMF and AID Global Association YouTube page. So thank you for watching that. Make sure you subscribe here, click that like button. There's more interviews coming this month and throughout the year, and more videos. So thank you so much, Christina, again. And I hope that you and your son stay healthy and have a good rest of your night.
yeah. Thank you very much.
All right. And